The science of forgiveness, healing yourself and others. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to forgive? Not just to say the words, but to feel the weight of resentment lift off your chest. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you let go of the anger and bitterness you've been carrying for years. Would you feel lighter? Freer? Perhaps even a little happier? Today, we're diving deep into something profoundly transformative, yet often misunderstood, the science of forgiveness. And let me tell you this. If you stay with me until the end of this journey, you'll walk away with tools that can not only heal your relationships, but can also profoundly change your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. So buckle up, because this is more than a conversation, it's a call to action. The power of forgiveness. Let's begin with a truth that might feel a little uncomfortable. Holding on to anger and resentment doesn't hurt the person who wronged you. It hurts you. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Nelson Mandela once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." Think about that for a second. Mandela, a man who spent 27 years in prison, emerged not with a heart full of vengeance, but with one filled with forgiveness. How was he able to do that? And more importantly, how can you? Forgiveness is not about condoning the behavior or letting someone off the hook. Let me be clear about this. Forgiveness does not equal acceptance of harm or betrayal. Instead, it's about freeing yourself. It's about releasing the anger, bitterness, and resentment that weigh you down. Here's the catch. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It's a choice, a conscious decision to release the emotional shackles binding you to the past. But why should you make that choice? Let's look at what science says. Forgiveness, a scientific perspective. Did you know that forgiving someone can improve your mental and physical health? Research has shown that forgiveness reduces stress and anxiety, improves heart health, and strengthens relationships. When you hold on to anger, your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Chronic stress can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical illnesses like heart disease and high blood pressure. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that individuals who practiced forgiveness reported lower levels of stress and higher overall well-being. The study participants who actively worked on forgiving others also showed significant improvements in immune system function. Consider this for a moment. Could forgiveness actually make you physically stronger? Another study in the Journal of Health Psychology discovered that forgiveness can even predict longevity. People who practice forgiveness were found to live longer lives compared to those who held on to grudges. Think about this. Could letting go of anger and resentment add years to your life? Here's a question for you. What's the cost of holding on to that grudge? What is it costing your health, your peace, and your relationships? The forgiveness process. Let's break this down into actionable steps. Forgiveness isn't some abstract mystical concept. It's a process. And like any process, it takes intentionality and effort. 1. Acknowledge the hurt and pain. Start by facing what happened. Be honest with yourself about how it made you feel. Don't suppress the emotions, let them surface. Write them down if it helps. Journaling is a powerful way to process feelings. For example, take 5 minutes to write a letter to the person who wronged you. Even if you never send it, putting your thoughts into words can bring clarity and release. 2. Choose to forgive. Remember, forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. Decide that you're ready to let go, even if you don't feel it yet. Say it out loud, "I choose to forgive." There's power in declaring your intention. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and telling yourself, "I will no longer allow this pain to control me." Verbalizing forgiveness can make it feel more tangible and real. Number 3, practice forgiveness. This is where the work really begins. Forgiveness isn't a one-time event. It's a practice. Every time the hurt resurfaces, remind yourself of your choice to forgive. Replace bitterness with empathy and compassion. This takes time, but it's worth the effort. Picture the other person as a child, vulnerable, flawed, and perhaps acting out of their own pain. Could that perspective make it easier to forgive? The benefits of forgiveness. Why go through this process? Because the rewards are life-changing. 1. Reduce stress and improved sleep. Forgiveness lowers cortisol levels, leading to better sleep and a calmer mind. Who wouldn't want that? Imagine going to bed at night without replaying the hurt in your head. Instead, you breathe deeply and fall asleep with a sense of peace. 2. Increased self-esteem and confidence. When you forgive, you're reclaiming your power. You're no longer letting the past control your present. This boosts your confidence and self-worth. Consider how lighter you'd feel walking into a room, knowing you're not carrying the weight of resentment. 3. Promotes compassion and empathy. Forgiveness helps you see others as flawed but human, just like yourself. It fosters compassion, which in turn strengthens relationships and builds bridges where walls once stood. Think of a time when someone extended you grace. How did that act of compassion impact your relationship with them? Now imagine giving that gift to someone else, forgiving yourself. Now let's talk about the hardest person to forgive, yourself. How often do we replay our mistakes, beating ourselves up over and over again? But here's the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Forgiving yourself is the first step toward self-healing and growth. 1. Recognize and accept your mistakes. Own up to what you've done. Be honest but kind to yourself. You're human, and humans make mistakes. Consider this. If your best friend made the same mistake, how would you counsel them? Chances are, you'd offer kindness and support. Now, extend that same kindness to yourself. 2. Learn from your mistakes. Every failure is a lesson. What did you learn? How can you grow? Write it down. Make it real. For example, if you've hurt someone, think about what you could do differently in the future to avoid causing similar pain. 3. Offer yourself compassion. Treat yourself the way you would a dear friend. Would you speak to a loved one with the same harshness you use on yourself? Likely not. Practice self-compassion daily. Look in the mirror and say, I am doing my best, and that is enough. Quotes to reflect on. To err is human, to forgive is divine. Alexander Pope. Think about this. Forgiveness elevates you to a higher plane of existence. It's not just about letting go, it's about rising above. Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. That is why it is such a powerful weapon. Nelson Mandela. Forgiveness doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful. It's a choice to no longer be a victim, but a victor. From the book, we also find this gem. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This quote beautifully illustrates the futility of harboring resentment. Imagine the pain you're inflicting on yourself by holding on to anger. Isn't it time to let go and heal? Another profound insight states, forgiveness is not something we do for others. It is something we do for ourselves to move forward. Reflect on how many opportunities for happiness and growth you've missed because you were anchored to past hurts. When you forgive, you're breaking free from that anchor. In The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, one agreement stands out in this context. Don't take anything personally. Ruiz explains that what others do is a projection of their own reality, not a reflection of your worth. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. Your immediate reaction might be anger, but what if you considered that they might be rushing to the hospital? Forgiveness becomes easier when you shift your perspective. Another insightful quote from Maya Angelou reminds us, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Angelou's words encourage us to reclaim our power. Think of a time you were wronged. Did you let it define you, or did you rise above it? Forgiveness allows us to take control of our narrative. From The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, we find, owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we will ever do. Forgiving ourselves is the ultimate act of self-love. Consider a moment when you made a mistake. Did you dwell on it, or did you use it as an opportunity for growth? Forgiveness of self is an act of courage. Wayne Dyer's words resonate deeply. How people treat you is their karma. How you react is yours. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about your peace, your journey, and your growth. Think about how liberating it feels to choose peace over conflict, to choose healing over hurt. Barack Obama, during his presidency, reflected on the transformative power of forgiveness. The future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. While not directly about forgiveness, this quote reminds us of the importance of moving forward and not dwelling on past wrongs. Imagine the strength you'd gain by pressing forward rather than remaining anchored in pain. Oprah Winfrey, a celebrated motivational speaker, said, "True forgiveness is when you can say, 'Thank you for that experience.'" This may seem counterintuitive, but it highlights the idea that every experience, no matter how painful, can teach us something valuable. Think of a challenging situation in your life. What lessons did it bring? How did it shape who you are today? From TED Talks, Brian Stevenson, the founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, stated, "Each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done." This profound reminder underscores the importance of seeing ourselves and others beyond their mistakes. Imagine a world where everyone extended grace to others and themselves. How much lighter would it feel? Action items for you: 1. Reflect on someone you need to forgive. Write down what happened and how it made you feel. Then write, "I choose to forgive." 2. Practice empathy. Put yourself in their shoes. Ask yourself, what might they have been going through? 3. Take 5 minutes to meditate on letting go. Visualize the weight of resentment lifting off your shoulders. 4. Forgive yourself for one thing today. Write down the mistake and what you learned from it. 5. Share your forgiveness journey with someone you trust. Talking about it makes it real and actionable. 6. Revisit these quotes and journal about how they resonate with your personal experiences. 7. Pick a moment this week to practice not taking things personally. Observe how it changes your emotional reaction. 8. Watch a TED Talk or listen to a podcast on forgiveness to deepen your understanding and motivation. 9. Start a gratitude journal. List 3 things you're grateful for every day. Gratitude and forgiveness often go hand in hand. Closing thoughts. So what have you learned today? Did something resonate with you? Did you hear a truth that made you pause and think? Forgiveness is not easy, but it is transformative. It heals not just relationships, but your mind, body, and soul. Here's my challenge for you. Pick one action item from today and do it. Just one. Start small, but start. And when you see the change it brings, come back and tell us about it. If you found value in this message, subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And give this video a like. It helps us reach more people and share more insights with the world. Let's build a community of growth, healing, and understanding. Finally, if there's a topic close to your heart that you believe can make this world a better place, let us know in the comments. Together, we can create something meaningful. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, forgiveness isn't just a gift you give others, it's a gift you give yourself.